say, little bitch, you can fuck with me if you wanted to. These expensive, these is red.
Today we're going to be featuring some hair from Unice Hair. I have an 18-inch frontal, a 28-inch bundle, two 26-inch bundles, and then a 24-inch bundle. And then we're going to be using some nylon thread. I have my needles here, and wig clips that I can attach to the wig when the wig is actually finished. I'm mixing these two in a thick paste and apply it to the back of the frontal over the knots, just to lighten up the knots a little bit for a natural scalp effect. Then I have my tweezers here. I'm going to be using these to pluck the hairline and get a more natural effect. I have a razor here. This is going to help me trim the baby hairs down to help them look more natural. Clips. I have some different combs here. Scissors. So this is my frontal. It is not pre-plucked and the knots are not bleached, you guys. So I got to work on that. And this is the hair. I've taken it out of the packaging. So I tag down my frontal to my mannequin head, and then I mix my bleach mixture with the developer, and I make it a pretty thick paste because I don't want it to bleed through the frontal and get on the hair. So I'm just mixing that up. Just whip it, whip it, whip it. So then I just kind of pat it onto the back of the frontal. I don't really rub it or just spread it on there because I don't want it to get on the hair. I'm just kind of tapping it into place. And I love this purple bleach because it kind of tones the hair and bleaches it all in one. And spreading the mixture evenly onto the frontal so that all the knots can be properly bleached. Then I let that process for about 15 minutes. And this is the result. It looks way more natural, a lot more like scalp. The hair is still silky, smooth, not shedding or tangling. So then I part along the line of the hairline, and this is going to help me start plucking and creating baby hairs. And I just go straight down the front of the hairline, pulling out as much little hair as possible. And then I take my slanted tweezers and I just start plucking. I really don't do it any uniform way. I just kind of pluck the hairline so it looks more natural. Each hairline is different. I also pluck the area that I parted out. This is going to give me a more natural effect. And then I take a wide tooth comb and I comb in between me plucking. And that's the hair that you're going to get out. You're going to get a lot of shedding when you pluck, you guys. So that's normal. Don't be alarmed. The hairline is already looking more natural with just me plucking one time. So I'm going to go back in and pluck a little more. And I like to do a little bit at a time because I don't want to over pluck the frontal. And when you're close to being done, you'll be able to tell what's a little too full and where you over plucked. So now I'm going to start creating the baby hairs. I like to use some type of foam or mousse on the baby hairs to kind of slick them down before I gel them down with either Got To Be or Gorilla Snot. And I also use a little razor to kind of trim the baby hairs down because y'all know the baby hairs on frontals and wigs come entirely too long. So this is the frontal. Plucked, bleached, and a little bit of baby hairs. For my wig caps, I like to use spandex dome caps. Sometimes I use spandex mesh dome caps, but whatever I can find. I tack the frontal onto the dome cap. I make sure I pull the frontal about an inch or inch and a half over the start of the dome cap. And then I just start sewing the back of the frontal down. And when I sew, I kind of do like a loop stitch. Like I push the needle through, making sure I don't go through the elastic band. But then I kind of like tie a knot with the thread around the needle. So it end up making it look like it's knotted without me putting in the extra efforts. So I'm just sewing that down, the whole entire back of the frontal. And I'm showing it in slow detail just so you can really see what I'm doing step by step. So my frontal is halfway on. Now I'm going to speed up a little bit and just finish putting that frontal all the way on. Y'all don't mind the gorilla snot that I have on the back of my hand. So then I take the longest bundle and I began sewing that to the back of the cap. And I like to start right at the nape. That way you can still pull it up into a ponytail and you don't see any extra cap or anything hanging out back there. And then I like to use the flip over method whenever I make my wigs. That way I'm not cutting my bundles. And I just flip it over and sew it really, really tight at the end so that it's not bulky. And I just continue the same sewing process. When I'm at the back of the nape though, I do not go sew through that elastic band. You do not want to sew through that elastic band. It is so important that you don't sew through the elastic band because your wig will not stretch. So I'm still flipping the wefts each time I get to the end. And still loop stitching it. And that's basically it. Like I just continue to sew the tracks in, starting with the longest bundle going up to the shortest. And at the back of the hair, in the back of the wig, I do double my tracks just so I can fit all 4 bundles in there. You want to try to fit as much hair as possible. So I always recommend people start with doubling the first bundle. And then you'll go from there to see if you need to continue doubling or not. And this is my stitch pattern up close. Really, really simple, you guys. The hair may get in the way sometimes. It's okay. Just brush it or pull it out the way. I always make sure I don't sew through any part of the band or any part of the stitching of the cap because I want the cap to be able to stretch as much as possible. Now I'm almost at the top. I'm on my last bundle, I think. And I just kind of lay these more flat. That way the final track will lay right on top of the frontal. So I don't continue going in like to a little U shape. You want to kind of make sure they're kind of straighten out a little bit more as you get to the top. That way it can lay right on top of the frontal. Your last track and your frontal, those threads should either meet or be covering up each other. And I also don't double my wefts at the top because I want the wig to lay as flat as possible. A frontal is already going to be flat. So you want the tracks that you lay up there to lay just as flat. That way when you do certain styles with your frontal, it's not bulky or hard to cover up the tracks. So this is the final bundle. And as you can see, I'm laying that bundle right at the edge of the back of the frontal. That way the weft is kind of laying dead on top of the frontal and it's covering up that thread that I used to actually lay the frontal down. So it's just going to make it have a more seamless effect. When I brush the frontal hair down and pull it back, it's going to be very seamless. So this is the wig so far, you guys. Just brushing the hair back. You can still see my baby hairs are all nice. I'm going to go ahead and finish the baby hairs on the right side of the wig. Using my foam, slicking them babies back. And I like to use a rat tail comb. That way I can use the bottom of the wig, the bottom of the comb to kind of help me lay the baby hairs a little bit. And I like my wigs to look natural. I don't add too many baby hairs, just enough. And as you can see, the back of the wig, you still pull it up. You can do whatever. It looks very natural. Then I cut off the excess cap that is up under the frontal because you don't need that. This is the wig. As you can see, the construction is nice. I tried it on for you guys. Loving it. So yeah, this is my tutorial, you guys. Thumbs up this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.